Business Takeout presents
The Cocktale Hour with L.A. Wade.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, L.A. Wade, and you're in the Cocktale Hour, and it's all thanks to Business Takeout, who empowers Black wealth and Black entrepreneurship. And today, can I just say it for you? Can I say it?
You can say it. You can say it.
Coach Stone is in the building.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that how you do it? I mean, I think you do a better introduction of yourself, but
No, that's good. That's good.
I love it. I love it. Mr. Danny Stone, welcome to the Cocktale Hour. How have you been?
I've been good, Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. But yeah, blessed, happy to be alive.
Listen, I can't tell people that I'm here working with Black entrepreneurs and people who want to build Black wealth and not talk to somebody like you who is talking about mindset and what that takes to be an entrepreneur, to build Black wealth, and the numerous amount of people that you impact with your messaging, that champion mentality. Tell me, Mr. Author and Coach Danny Stone, where did you begin and how did you get here to do this?
It started before me. My grandparents immigrated to Canada from Jamaica. Wow. So as immigrants, they came with that work ethic. They had a lot of challenges that they've had to overcome, racism, all of these other things. And so, I grew up in Nova Scotia and just seeing how hard that my grandparents worked. And I didn't even realize this at the time because my mom was a single mom with 3 kids. We grew up in low-income housing. So we stayed in community housing, but on the weekends, I would go visit my grandparents. And I never knew this, but my grandparents had a house and they owned a duplex. I didn't realize. So they actually bought a duplex very early. And I remember going and helping my grandmother. She would do like the yard work and stuff like that. And I remember going to the neighbor's house with her sometimes, and they would give her envelopes. And I'm like, what? It didn't register till much later. So I think my entrepreneurial journey started before I even knew it, because my grandparents bought a duplex, lived in one side and rented out the other side. And I never realized that for a very long time, that's what like entrepreneurship was. I didn't know.
Right. And that's a big one too. Like real estate is definitely something that we need to invest in. Myself, I'm just getting into real estate. I know you're happy homeowner with wifey.
That's right.
And that's beautiful. And the being able to utilize property to build income. These are really great wealth builders. But I want to bring it back to the mindset and what it is that you do in your career that helps get people to the mindset to even consider something like that.
Yeah, I think what happens is a lot of things start with clarity in our lives. Like what happens is we look around at other people and we think that other people are so much further ahead. And so, or somebody tells you, hey, this is a great business idea, you should do this. And you try all of these different things, but you don't have the clarity in terms of what it is that you really want. Mm-hmm. And what doing this thing is going to allow you to do more of.
Yes.
What is owning a business going to allow you to do more of that you value? Right. And a lot of people chase things for money and they chase it for accolades and all that. That stuff doesn't last. So get clear about what is it that you want in your life, in all areas of your life that matter. What do I want in my relationships? Mm-hmm. What do I want in my finances? What do I want with my career? What type of lifestyle do I want? Get clear about those things first. And then you kind of start focusing on, the type of businesses that I can sort of tap into that utilize my skills and my knowledge and experience. But most people do it wrong. They just jump out, they start a little side hustle, it makes them a little bit of money, and they stay in that side hustle mode for years, like 10, 15 years, and it never really becomes a business, right?
Well, I think we're afraid to jump.
Oh, we are. Definitely. I was afraid to jump when I left my corporate job. It was like double Dutch. I was waiting for the right time to jump in to start skipping. But I think a lot of it too comes with building the right mindset. And one of the things that I tell people all the time is we've been told a lot of lies in our life, like so many lies. And one of the biggest lies is that you just got to believe in yourself. Oh, you just got to believe. Like, the way that, you hear people say, I became successful because I just believed in myself.
Right.
That's a lie.
Not true. I
It's
mean,
a lie.
it's important.
No.
It's
Here's
not
what
even
people,
important.
yeah, but it's a lie. You didn't believe in yourself. The Oprah, when she was on local TV, never
Right.
knew she was going to own a network 100%. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah.
Serena Williams never thought she would be the greatest tennis player or considered one of the greatest athletes of all time
Right.
when she played that first tennis match. It's impossible.
Right.
But what we have to know is this, and this is what I tell everyone. This is what you need to know. This is the truth. Progress equals belief.
I like that because it's like it's kind of like this idea that I think it was Louise Hay who wrote a book, or somebody that wrote a book called "Take the Step and the Bridge Will Be There."
Right.
It's your faith. It's the faith work.
Right.
Right.
But it comes with, like, think about everything that you were able to accomplish in your life. You were terrified in the beginning. Everything from graduating high school to driving a car to your first job to asking for a career advancement to starting a business. Everything in the beginning is awkward and scary. So you're not even 100% sure. But what happens is, or losing weight or whatever that is,
Yes.
you go and you do it begrudgingly. You're kind of like, let me try this thing.
Yes.
And after a couple of days, you're still not sure. A couple weeks, couple months, and then you start to look back and say, "Wait, I've stepped up 2 steps. Okay, well now I have more belief than I did a month ago." And that's how progress works. Progress equals belief. The more progress you make, the more you actually start to think, "I can live this goal or this dream," and then that opens up things that you never considered.
I absolutely love that idea. I think I live it. I think that I'm very goal oriented in the things that I do. And I don't always know how it's going to end up on the other end. I just know that taking the step is going to get me closer to something, and it's going to start to clarify, because a lot of what you talked about with mindset is habits. And I think that our habits can sometimes get in the way of us taking those steps, because we're used to Egypt. We're trying to go back, and the promised land's in the other direction.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
our
you're good at that, though. You're good at sort of getting in motion. And I always ask people, like I say, look, if you were lost in the middle of a forest, right? And you had no food and no water, would you sit in place and wait until food and water showed up? Or are you going to go and look for food and water? And even if you move in the wrong direction, you don't find food and water, at least you know that you tried.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to die empty.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. I'm
Right.
going to die empty. I'm going to die trying.
Right.
Right. Get rich or die trying.
That's right. Okay, 50 Cent.
It's so true. And I think that in terms of like entrepreneurs that are watching this show, I think that's a really good place to analyze whether or not you should even be an entrepreneur, because some people are better in corporate jobs. They don't have that kind of survival instinct, that drive.
Yeah, I don't think entrepreneurship is for everyone because it requires you to take risks. Sometimes they're calculated. It requires you to step outside of your comfort zone. It requires you to constantly be learning and growing. It requires you to be uncomfortable with not getting money flowing into your bank account every 2 weeks or once a month. And so entrepreneurship is really you tapping into your ultimate creativity, resourcefulness, and curiosity.
Yes.
And some people can do that, but they have to be in a controlled environment to really do that. And that's where your job comes into play. But there's other people who are like, I'm curious, I'm creative, I'm resourceful, I'm willing to bet on myself. I know that I can figure it out. And it's when the what becomes bigger than the how. the what is bigger than the how. What you want in your life becomes bigger than how you're going to do it.
Wow. Man, you have me pausing every second. When do you do this thing for a living? This guy drops gems around the world. You've been traveling a lot more and doing talks. How did that start to happen for you?
Yeah, I think what happened was, we'll talk about how things like answering the call, but it was really, a lot of people don't know this, and I don't really like to say this too much, but like when people ask me things about coaching and speaking, I say, well, I got a lot of receipts. Like I got a lot of receipts. Like I can validate what I'm saying. So it's funny. Maybe 3 weeks ago, I happened to find this binder that I have in my house, and I don't know why I was smart enough to do this long time ago, but I started just keeping all of my certificates and stuff I had for years. And I open up this binder, and it says Danny Stone, facilitation 1999. Here's a certificate of completion for facilitation 1999.
Wow. And you hadn't done any facilitation really up until that, so you saw that.
Well, I had, but it was me looking back, reminding myself that I've been doing this since 1999. I just found this just like 2 weeks ago.
That's
So
great.
flipping through this thing, and it's like I was doing job search facilitation and coaching people in their careers, and I had all of these certificates to validate that, man, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been really kind of helping people see something different and do something different. And so the whole evolution of me speaking was people just kept asking me to speak. I would just share a story one-on-one with somebody or something. They'd be like, oh, you need to come to our organization, the nonprofit or my company. And so it just started kind of evolving. And then people would be passing my name around, and they were like, hey, did you hear Coach Stone speak? And that's kind of how it just really started taking off.
Yeah. You know what I found was really interesting during COVID, and I think a lot of us who kind of do this kind of work pivoted and recognized the power of self-promotion as well, and how podcasts and things like that can really promote you, and you take on the realm of marketing yourself directly related to what you do.
Yeah.
So I know you have the Grind and Gratitude show. How did that evolve?
The Grind and Gratitude show started because I would say before the pandemic, I just wanted to help people. So this might have been in 2018 or 2019. I just started going live on Facebook. And at first I was just saying, hey, what do you need help with? I'm not an expert on everything, but I'm just here to listen. If I have some expertise, I'll help you.
Right.
And then it started evolving into like people saying, well, can you teach me about mindset? Can you teach me about how to achieve my goals? Teach me some of the things that you have in your book. And so I would just go live and start kind of teaching people what I knew. And then when the pandemic hit, I started going live every single day for like 6 months.
Oh my goodness.
Every day, different topics, mindset, how to start a side hustle, how to turn your side hustle into a business, all of these different, how to ask for a raise, all of these things.
Wow.
And then I'm like, I can't keep doing this. So then I was like, you know what? I think I can do it as a podcast. And then I said, it takes to be successful and to kind of achieve things that you really want in life, you need to grind and hustle, and you need to be grateful and show gratitude.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's it, the Grind and Gratitude show. So I launched it just over a year ago, but maybe a year and a half, because we're at 120 episodes.
Oh,
So
wow. That's
one every single week for the last 120 weeks, I guess.
I think I just saw one where you talked about you weren't feeling like doing something. I think the last one that you just posted was you didn't feel like doing your show, but the importance of showing up. And it seems like you've really created a fine art around showing up, not only for yourself, but for the people that you help. Talk to me about the integrity that is integral to you being who you can be successful with.
Yeah, well, I'm still not feeling 100%, but I wasn't feeling that great this week. And I was like, man, maybe I can just miss this episode. I mean, I've done 119 episodes. Who's going to miss it, right? And then I'm like, nah, my grandmother used to say, you are your word. Always stick to your commitments. And so I just did it. And on the episode, I said to my co-host, I called my co-host, I said, look, I'm not feeling well. And as I was thinking about this episode, it just reminded me of the power of showing up and sticking to your commitments.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about all of the things that happened in my life where I just didn't want to do something. Either I didn't want to do it, I wasn't feeling well, I wasn't in the mood, and I did it anyway, and how it benefited me.
Yeah.
Because it usually something happens. I end up having a great conversation, or there's a takeaway, and then the people that I'm showing up for benefit because they're happy that I'm there, just for my presence, or they learn something, and so it's reciprocal. So, and then so many things have happened. I've gotten job offers, all kinds of things from me just showing up.
Exactly.
And so that's the power of showing up. Like, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, there's going to be days when you just don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to make a sales call. You don't want to make that post. You don't want to check your stats. But it's those little things that create discipline. And forget what you heard about motivation. Motivation doesn't last. It's about discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline is the key to success. And so if you start programming yourself to get up every day and to do the most important things in your business, it builds momentum, right? Your clients realize it. They're like, they start to see you showing up every day.
Yeah.
People who aren't your clients see that. Other opportunities for partnerships or to get on other platforms, they see you showing up every day.
Yeah.
And that opens up doors that you never thought would be open for you.
It's very true. The consistency. You mentioned something about checking your stats, and I'm like, people don't even think about doing stuff like that. So you seem to create a schedule for yourself on how to be successful, not only in your mind, but like your to-do list must be stacked on what you do every morning.
Yeah, I think the most important thing that I tell entrepreneurs is this: you have to start your day with a morning ritual. Everything is about mindset. If you believe that you can be a multimillionaire, you can believe that you can be the best in your industry, you have a good shot. If you don't, you have a good shot of not having it. So, everything is about how you wake up. And when you wake up in the morning, dedicate those first 3 or 4 or 5 minutes to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What are you grateful for? What is one thing that you want to see happen today? What are the affirmations, the positive words that you're saying to yourself? Because all of this is setting you up to become successful, but also to manage stress, to see things more clearly. And that's the power of a morning ritual. Like, when you wake up on your own terms, I noticed when I started doing this years ago, like, I just started managing stress so much better with my morning ritual. Like, things would come up. At the time I was working a corporate job. I had a full-fledged consulting business. I was writing my book and I was going to school. So I was ended up juggling all these things. And when I started this morning ritual, I was just learning how to just deal with everything. I wasn't as stressed. I had more clarity in terms of the things I needed to do, the people I wanted to spend my time with. And that's one of the most important things that a lot of people don't talk about. When you look at people who are highly successful, they start their day with a morning ritual, whatever that looks like for them.
That's really true. Yeah, my morning, I don't know what your morning ritual is, but for me, those first few moments is definitely spent in prayer. I call it pillow talk.
I love it.
I got that from a pastor. I think his name was Pastor Q. And he's like, you got to have that pillow talk. And because I'm now newly single, my pillow talk is like, I'm myself on the pillow. But it's important to, if you are a couple out there, like, it's important to have your individual pillow talk and your pillow talk with your spouse as well. I want you to talk about being successful while being in partnership and in terms of the committed marriage or a committed relationship. How are you able to work together and still be committed to one another when you have such large commitments outside of the marriage?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why our relationship works is because when I met my wife, Trudy, she already knew that my mission was to inspire people to be their best, to find the champion inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
And because she knew the magnitude of my mission, it wouldn't work if she didn't understand that.
Right. It was no surprise.
No, my mission, the mission was bigger. And so that was the first thing. And I think for her, she was really trying to find her mission and her purpose. And I was supportive of that. And so for us, it's like we both understand that individually we're on paths to really help people, to help them do something different, see something different. But we also realize that we need to be a couple. We need to be on the same page. We need to have our family goals in order to elevate both of us and to build our legacy. And I think that's what's really important. Because when I was working my corporate job and I had my side hustle, at first she didn't understand. She's like, why are you coming home from your job and staying up till 1 a.m. and 2 working on business stuff?
Right.
And she didn't get it. And then she came to watch me speak at events, and people I coached, when we'd be out and they'd come up to her and they'd be like, oh, he's my coach. Does Danny tell you? She's like, no, he's a coach. He doesn't tell me anything. Right. But she started experiencing that and she's like, okay, I see that.
Yeah.
The same way that when I started hearing her talk about nutrition and seeing her on national TV, I'm like, man, now I get her passion.
You are saying something so important that I think people underestimate. And this is like, I know this is a cocktail hour for Black entrepreneurship and wealth, but this is a part of it, especially because relationships are so important to our success, is that when you can see your partner in their element, it's such a turn on.
Yeah.
Like it's such the thing that you want to be able to see. It becomes another reason why you love that person, because you can see them doing what they were purposed to do. And I think that the both of you do that really well and support each other really well. And that's why I wanted to make a point of asking you about it, because your relationship has the inner champ, like fully, the clarity, all of that stuff. If you break down your champ, for us to understand what this inner champ mentality is, you can have that apply to every area of your life. So break it down for me. What is the champ? The champ is here.
The champ is here. You heard Muhammad Ali say it. I'm following his footsteps. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys something. It's just a lot of lies that we've been told. I already told you a couple. Another problem is in life, we're taught that there's winners and there's what?
Losers.
Right. Winners and losers. So we equate everything to wins and losses. Champions don't, because every champion has lost, whether it's in sports, whether it's in business. Elon Musk has lost. Serena Williams, LeBron James, Michael Jordan has all lost.
LA Way.
Right. I've lost a lot. I've had tons of different businesses that fail. Life isn't about winning and losing. It's about understanding that you have a champion inside of you. And when you understand that, I have a method called CHAMP. It's clarity, right? You have to get clear about what you want so you're not chasing other people's dreams, right? Habits. What are the habits that you have? And it's all about discipline, right? You can always change your habits. It takes time, but are your habits, you have to ask yourself, are my habits serving me powerfully?
Right.
Are my habits serving me powerfully? If they're not, maybe it's time to change some of those habits.
I'm going to pause for here. I know we're doing the acronym, but I have to just share that I was telling you just before we started how I'm on a live it, not a diet.
I love that. I love that.
Big up to all the Rastaman that tell me that I'm on a live it, not a diet. And so I realized that I didn't articulate my goal properly. And so that's why I've been always falling off, quote unquote, falling off the wagon with my live it. And so then I was like, okay, so what do I want to do? I want to be healthy. I want the things that I put into my body to work with my body for my optimal performance. So I think that was more of a goal than losing weight, so to speak. And I thought, and your wife's been dying to try to get me to do this all the time. So you need to cook more, LA. So my goal has become, I'm not going to ingest anything that I haven't cooked or doesn't need to be warmed up in the microwave. Ooh. It has to be natural, or I have to cook it slow.
I love it.
And that's my goal. So I'm going to be hungry if I don't start cooking.
Right.
And so just today was my first day, everybody.
All right. Let's go.
I walked in and I saw this banana loaf on my counter, and I looked at it and I'm like, the devil is a liar. But in order for me to make that, I would have to make that shit from scratch. And we know that that's not going to happen for an entrepreneur. So I have to change my habits. I say all of that to say I need to change my habits. I need to plan and I need to get clear. So I think I got the clear part.
But even in the clarity part, what is eating healthier going to allow you to do? How are you going to feel?
Exactly. I want the optimal performance from my body so that I can do those long shifts with my work, so that I can help other people and not feel depleted, so that when I do the cocktail hour, I don't look like, oh, LA needs to have a nap, man. Working too hard.
But
You know what I mean?
LA, that is it. See, a lot of people think clarity is I just wrote out this one line in terms of what I want, or I got it in my mind. Clarity actually takes you time because you start going deep. And the reason why it's deep is because it's like visualization. I teach people how to visualize, and it's like they close their eyes and they see themselves, with their multi-million-dollar business or whatever. That's not how you visualize. It's
Right.
about the whole experience. What are you feeling? What are the words that you're experiencing? Who's there with you?
Mhm.
What are you saying to each other?
Yeah.
That's what clarity is. So I always tell people the reason why clarity is so important is because you got to make your why bigger than your whining.
Oh, that's a bar.
Right? The reason why you want to achieve something has to be bigger than all the excuses that you're going to make to not take action.
Wow.
And that only starts with being crystal clear. The experience, how you're going to feel,
Yeah.
how you're going to help your family and other people. That's all clarity. And once you embody that, the why is so much bigger than the whining. So you roll out of bed and you take action because the why is too big.
Yeah.
It's too big.
And that happens a lot in that discernment, that morning ritual, as almost like a reinstatement every day, the constant renewal of your mind. It becomes like, oh, that ritual is reinforcing what it is that your goal is, that clarification of what it is you're doing it for and why.
Absolutely. You got it.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we were on M.
So habits was that what we finished on. So we have to develop powerful habits that are going to serve us well. And what happens is when you start to program your subconscious mind, like through visualization and telling your mind what you want and vision boards and taking action, it becomes automatic.
Yes.
And when things become automatic, you're definitely on the road to success. So changing your habits is going to allow you to do that. Then it's actions. What are the steps that you're going to take every day? What are the 2 to 3 most important things you need to do in your business every day? If you can only do these 2 or 3 things, get them done. Because a lot of us have laundry lists and we get overwhelmed. It's like, I can't do all 15. What are the 2 things you can do?
Right.
The 2 that are going to move the needle the most. Right?
Yep.
Then we look at mentors. It's like,
So important.
I'm going to tell you something else. There's a book called Who Not How.
Ooh.
By I think it's Derek Hardy.
Okay.
Who Not How. A lot of us make progress and we stop and we fall off track because we're trying to figure out how to make something happen. We're living in a world where we don't need to figure out how. We have access to the biggest library in the world called Google.
Right. There's an app for that.
Right. All you got to do is figure out who's already done it, follow them, download all their free stuff, buy their books, buy their courses and their programs. You never have to start from zero.
Right. It's true.
And so mentors, whether it's mentors personally that you can get to mentor you, whether it's mentors that you just follow their work, you can get mentors that will speed up your progress. It's not about how. Don't ever think that you have your idea is so unique that no one's ever done it. It's never about how. It's only about who.
Right.
Who can you follow? Who can mentor you that can show you the way?
Yes.
So mentors is that every champion has had mentors. Business champions, sports champions, everybody you know who's successful has had mentors and coaches. 100% guaranteed.
Yep.
And so it's the same for us, right? Go and find mentors, seek them out. Seek out online communities like Facebook or Clubhouse and join with people so that you can sort of congregate with them and bounce ideas. And those days that you just don't feel like doing anything, they can encourage you and inspire you. So mentors is the M in champs.
I love it.
And then the last P is what I said is really around discipline, but it's about perseverance. You're going to have challenges. Business is a roller coaster. Now, there's ways to make those dips less steep as you go on through business by getting systems in place and partnering with people and getting a team. But there's always going to be ups and downs.
Yeah.
And we have to learn that because we have a champion inside of us, it's about what am I supposed to be learning in this moment?
Yeah.
Take that information and apply it to find a way around or through that challenge that you're going through. But don't quit.
Yeah.
Don't quit.
Fail forward, I think, is
Fail forward.
before. Yeah.
So that's the champ method that I teach people.
Yeah, I'm
we
here for
get to work. We get to work.
I mean, it simplifies how to help people as well, because you know that this champ works.
Oh yeah.
So then by breaking it down in this way, you can be so intentional and specific with how to work with your clients that, because even if I was to just say, I'm going to do the champ by myself, it would only bring me so far, because there's a lot to be said about the right questions. And sometimes we're limited in what we know. And that's why having somebody else to mirror back to us, reflect back to us, or give us different perspective, which is the power of having a coach, is so important, you know? But I love that the coach aspect is true for you, but you also really empower the individual, because part of coaching is knowing that the answer is in the person that you're coaching. You're just helping them out.
It's always in the coach.
Hey, Coach Danny Stone. You can't see who you are because it's just a Facebook user, but
it's never about the coach. It's always about the person. And as a coach, our job is to help people get clear about what they want, help them craft a way forward to make it happen, and to hold them accountable.
Yes.
And accountability is key to getting things done. When you know that it's like in your job, right? And your boss says, okay, you have a project that you have to get done. Most of us sit around and we don't start the project. And then, it's coming up to a week now. And you're like, I need to get this thing done because I need to present this to the team or my boss.
Exactly.
You only do that because you're accountable. Somebody's holding you accountable.
Right.
And that's what coaching is. Really finding people, a coach or somebody you trust to hold you accountable to do what you say you're going to do is what propels people forward in their business and in their life. Accountability.
Yes. And that's exactly what you do as a coach. I think you had a quote that said you help people speak to impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how you're really mentoring that person through their process of developing and learning, evolving, unraveling, discovering who they are. Another quote that you had on, I can't remember where, I've been snooping up all your stuff. It says, the goal for many people is to make a greater impact in the world and do meaningful work. And so there's a connection between your why, I guess. That's the why again. Why are you doing the work that you're doing?
I do the work that I do because, I know what it's like to struggle with your self-esteem and your confidence. I mean, I grew up in low-income housing. Like, I was around drug dealers and used to get bullied by, pimps and drug dealers and all that kind of stuff. And I just didn't know my worth. I didn't feel valued. And once I kind of started working with mentors and doing a lot of self-help work, I realized that, like, I don't want anyone to feel like that. We all have value. There's a reason that we're all here. And if you choose to become an entrepreneur and start a business, my whole thing is I want to help you make more income, impact, and influence. Like that's what I want to help you to do. I want you to be able to make a greater impact in the lives of the people that you're serving. I want you to make more money, and I want you to have more influence, because when you have more influence, you get on bigger platforms and you reach more people.
Yes.
So that's my whole mission when it comes to serving entrepreneurs and business owners.
I love this influence part of what you're saying, because talking to a Black man who, is, you're one of the people that a lot of young men can look up to, and to hear you speak from a place of vulnerability, you're using your influence in a very particular way, while also being, your masculine self. You're also showing how to balance the different energies that are within you and how you utilize that in your business to impact other people. It's really powerful. A lot of people are afraid of their emotional side. And I have a friend from Africa, and he's always like, You people in North America are so emotional.
But you know what's really interesting about that? I have a lot of African friends too. I'm
Yeah.
really close. We talk every day. We have
Right.
a WhatsApp group, and it's interesting that they say that to me too, right?
You guys are
And
so
then
emotional.
and then I share interviews I've done or snippets or posts where I'm opening up saying, look, I'm struggling. I'm not where I want to be. These are some of the things I've been through. And they'll watch it and they'll say, man, I can relate to that.
Yeah, of course.
So even the people, and this is the power, and this is why one of the biggest things that I think that we have as Black entrepreneurs, this is one of the biggest things that's almost innate in all of us that we don't even realize how powerful it is. Black people are natural storytellers. It's
Yes.
natural.
Yes.
And everything that everybody does as individuals and human beings evolves around stories. You read books, you watch TV shows, movies, you have conversations. Everything is about a story. So instead of us constantly chasing customers and clients like buy my stuff, we need to use what's already within us, and that's the power of telling stories.
Yeah.
Now, you have to know which stories to tell. It have to be very strategic, but it's a natural ability that we have.
Yeah.
And when people say, well, my story doesn't really relate to my business, I say this. I've told a story about me growing up in low-income housing, headed down the wrong path, being arrested 3 times before the age of 18, doing all kinds of things that I shouldn't do. And at the age of 18, I made a decision that changed my life forever. I decided I was going to go to university and not go that way. I went that way, went to university, played basketball, changed my life forever.
Wow.
When I tell people this story, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened in between. I've told that story at colleges and universities, corporate, big companies,
Yep.
all these places. So if you're saying my story doesn't matter, how can people from all walks of life who've never experienced the things that I experienced, never grew up in the place I grew up, how can they relate to my story?
Exactly.
They never had that experience. It's because we find ourselves in other people's stories, right? We've all had challenges. We've all had setbacks. We've all had things that we didn't believe about ourselves. So as Black entrepreneurs and business owners, we have to hone in and tap in on that thing that's already within us and really learn to become better storytellers so that you attract your ideal customer. They come running to you. You don't have to chase them.
So true. Use your gifts.
Use the gift that's already in us. We just have to learn to hone that gift.
Yes. So I love that. And I love how that connects to being the champ. And I think even a step further is championing someone. So like you having your network. We talked a little bit before we started about the Black Chambers. Talk about your networking and being a part of certain organizations and how that has contributed to your success as an entrepreneur and a speaker.
Yeah, I am a Black business advisor for the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce, and we advise almost 500 businesses across Canada.
Wow.
From people who are just starting out, a little side hustle, to people who are making a few $1 million. So we advise these businesses, and it is about your network. It's about who can you get to know. And for a lot of us as business owners, again, it's not about how. You're sitting here trying to figure things out when there's people out there right now who you can connect with, who can show you how to get certain things done in your business.
Yeah.
And so asking for help is so important. I never used to be the type of person to ask for help. I used to be to try to figure it out on my own and would struggle and waste lots of time and money. But you have to learn to ask for help. The second thing is to get out there and start networking and meeting people. And it's not always about money. Sometimes you can barter services, right?
Yeah.
So-and-so can do your social media and you can do something else for them. I've done that in the past.
Oh, the bartering is real.
Right. I've gotten things done in the past like that. So as business owners, you need to be networking. You need to be in virtual rooms. You need to be in physical rooms. And it's not always about what you can do for other people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just about listening. just about hearing what other people are going through and knowing that you're not alone. That is so big. Like
And
to
people,
know that I'm not the only one that goes through this roller coaster of my money's up and my money's down.
yeah,
Just being with other entrepreneurs saying, hey, Danny, yep, that happens to me too. And I'm like, oh wow, I thought it was just me. That's
right?
power. That's powerful.
That is powerful. To
Right?
not feel alone in a world where it feels very much like you're alone, that is powerful. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that you wrote an amazing book. You Have the Keys, Now Drive. And it kind of was the explosion of everything that we've been talking about. It's what tipped the dominoes and have created this whole thing. So talk to me about your book and the evolution. Oh, there it is right there.
This is the book right here. You have the keys. Now, this is my big face.
That's a great picture.
Yeah. So
Is it on Amazon?
yeah, it's on Amazon. You Have the Keys, Now Drive. 5 Keys and 5 Habits to Personal Change. I wrote the book in 2014, and I was always told in school that I was a bad writer. I always struggled with writing because I believed that I wasn't a good writer. But this is where I say the power of one. I decided I was going to write this book because I said, if the book can literally help one person, like I didn't even care if I didn't even sell it. I said, if it can help one person, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So I wrote the book on the train going to and from work on my iPad and my iPhone. It took me 12 weeks to write, and I got it up, and I had a big book launch, and people came out. I told a lot of stories, and it was really just about the things that I learned from my mentors and my coaches, the things I learned from my coaching clients. And it really lays out like these are 5 habits and 5 real kind of mindsets you have to develop if you want to take your life in a direction that you never thought was possible.
Yeah.
The book came out 2014. It just kind of started to take off. Like 9, 10 different countries. People are reaching out from Italy, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia. Like, man, I got your book. I'm seeing things different. And that sort of kicked off the whole journey to everything. I quit my job. I launched my business.
Wow.
Everything happened around that time, all at the same time.
Totally jumped.
Yeah, I
I
made the
think
leap.
that there's something about writing the book that all of a sudden can propel you in the direction. That momentum, that double Dutch thing that you were talking about, it somehow pushed you into the ropes and allowed you to start skipping.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of, and then when I started, I was still a side hustler. Like I did a master class for the Black Chamber, and it was called Mastering Your Business Owner Mindset. And I said that there's 4 levels to business. You're a side hustler, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, or you own a corporation or a company.
Right.
And a lot of people stay stuck in the side hustle mode. But at every level requires a different mindset, but it also requires a different commitment and investment in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Side hustle, you don't want any money going out, so you're not willing to pay to learn, to get coaches or anything. I'm just a side hustle. When you get into the entrepreneur world, you start to kind of, get some books and start learning and whatever.
Yeah.
But when you become a business owner, you don't have to be in the business. The business can still function without you.
Yes.
And I think that's the evolution that a lot of people think that they're at, but they're not. When your business can run and you can go on vacation or you can be sick and the business still runs without you, that's when you know, like, okay, I think that this is a business. I think that this is going to allow me to have the freedom that I want in my life. Right. But if you're required to be in the business constantly doing things, then maybe it's cool with you, but if you don't want that, then you're going to have to evolve your thinking and involve your investment and your commitment. Every level requires more.
It sure does. And now you're doing a lot more, so you've clearly been investing along the way. What is the perfect plan for one's life?
I think the perfect plan, I don't know if there's a perfect plan, but this is what I do ask people. What does a perfect day look like for you? You were to sit down and imagine, this is the most amazing day I've ever had. What's happening in that day?
Yeah.
then here's the thing. Your goal in life is to try to replicate that day as many times as you possibly can.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess that would be a really great way to live. Yeah.
It's a starting point, you know?
No, for sure. When you say speak up to scale up, it's kind of like I got to think about that and then articulate it so that I can make it manifest itself. So I can totally see that. Um, the other question I wanted to ask you was about your other book where you wrote with a bunch of other gentlemen. It's a very powerful book. And again, it speaks to your influence. So you don't always have to do something for your business and make it only about your business. Your values can be an extension of your business. And I think that that's what that book kind of, at least when I read it, that's what I got a sense of. I got to know who you are and what matters to you, as well as you being and it had nothing to necessarily do with you as a coach, but I could see your values. So talk to me about that kind of expansion and how you integrate that into what you do.
Yeah, I think for me, and one of the things that I always ask people and I ask myself is what's important to me? What are your wins? What's important now? What's important right now in your life?
Yeah.
And where are you and where do you want to be in terms of your level of happiness and success? That's always a starting point. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, it's like I'm constantly like looking at that checking in. Is this really important to me? Does this align with my values? If it's not, then I don't have any time for it. That's why my circle is small because I only spend time with people who are going in the same direction I'm going.
Yeah.
And if you're not, it's okay. No hard feelings. We're just going in different directions. And so when I was asked to be a part of this book, I wrote this book with 9 other Black men. Each of us wrote a chapter about a different challenge that we've had to overcome. Learning disabilities, growing up in low-income housing, being abused, having to make a decision about not going out there and doing harm to somebody, all kinds of things. And Jeff Martin, who's a powerful motivational speaker, police officer, he does so much. He's the one that brought us all together. And I'm going to be honest, it was a hard journey. It was 2 years, more than 2 years in the making, because we're all so busy. Some guys dropped off. It was a whole bunch of things, but Jeff and I just kept kind of chugging with a couple of the other guys and we got it done.
Yeah.
And this is where the vision comes into play. The reason why has to be bigger than all the whining.
Yes.
We realized the mission to get this book done is bigger than all the other stuff we got going on, all the challenges, all that we can't get together, and we got it done because we all realized that this book can change lives.
Right.
And it is. We almost broke the top 10 in the category on Amazon. The book right now is being read in different prisons here in Toronto.
That's so dope.
It's reached about 8 or 9 countries so far.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when your values and you show up authentically. Other people see that and opportunities start to present themselves that you had no idea about. I didn't know Jeff was thinking about this, but he had seen the work that I was doing. He had me on his podcast. We had a great conversation. And the thing that got us is we realized that we had the same type of values. And he's like, look, I need you on this project.
Yeah.
And so that's when you live in your truth and show up authentically.
Yeah, that's really powerful. I think somebody else that follows you is saying good evening to you. I'll destroy his name, but I'll try. What is it? Onyakashi? Joshua?
How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man.
Evening. Thanks for tapping in. I know we're having a conversation. Sometimes the conversations I have include a lot of people that are watching in the mix, but we've just been like sitting at the foot of the coach and just hearing the stories that has made you successful and that have helped other people become successful. So I guess the question now becomes, what do you still thirst for and what's next for you?
Well, first thing, I think success is relative. Like once you achieve a big goal or a dream, there's always another one, right? And so for me, I want to get on bigger platforms. I want to get on bigger stages. And it's not for my ego.
No.
Probably a little bit, but it's not even about that. It's about service.
That way.
I'm
Definitely.
about service. Like I'm about like I really want people to understand like it doesn't matter where you started, it doesn't matter where you are. Your time wasn't yesterday, it's not tomorrow, it's right now.
Yeah.
Like I want people to understand your time is now. And so that's my goal. I'm going to be on some bigger platforms. I've been in talks to get in to be speaking in other countries. But that's what it is for me. I really want to, it's not even, I want to lead people to take inspired action.
Yeah.
I don't want to motivate you. I want to lead you to take inspired action, right? I want you to understand that there's a champion inside of you. You might not see it every day. You definitely don't see it when you're struggling, but you're resourceful and resilient enough to make it through what you're trying to get through.
Yeah.
And that's so there's a couple of things going on, some bigger platforms, some
doing your thing,
other countries, a few things like that.
No,
Yeah.
I never thought about asking this until right now, and I just want to say big up to Oliver who's watching also. Nice.
What's up, Oliver?
Thanks for tapping in. It's an adorable picture. It looks like, when people are by the dolphins.
Yeah, I saw that. That's nice.
That double Dutch thing about taking the jump and doing something that, you're not sure of, and that clarity aspect. Is there anything in your life where you're still playing double Dutch? And what is that thought process?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, playing double Dutch is really putting more time and effort and resources into growing my speaking. And I definitely know that I have the ability to lead people to inspired action. And I think what I'm doing is really trying to force my way into certain environments to speak. And I realized that I need to open myself up to other places. And it's not it wouldn't be that difficult. And really get the right person or organization behind me so I don't have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. So for the longest time, I didn't want to apply to agencies and all that stuff, but I've been open to that. So I've applied to a couple speaking agencies, and
nice.
I know once one or two of them pick me up, that'll really get the ball rolling. But for the longest time, I was like, do I really want to do this? Am I good enough to be in an agency? I'm in and out. I'm like, man, no. I'm Coach Stone is in the building. I'm like, it's an experience. Like, yeah, one of these agencies will pick me up, and I'll start getting on bigger stages and platforms.
Yes.
And really start to get the message out there that everybody has a champion inside of them.
I love it. I think that that's what you are inspiring today is to take that jump and to go through a process of clarity. And that in what you just said, the double Dutch thing is almost like a part of the process. Yeah. Because you have to get to that next level in order to have to wonder. That's what's making you wonder.
Right.
You're going through that thought process. You're clarifying, where do I want to go? And once you know, you're jumping in, and then you start doing like touching your feet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all up in it. But the thing is too, it's the why. The why has to be bigger than all of this is uncomfortable, all of I don't know if I really can. I don't other people's opinions. Like, honestly, when I started getting clear about my why, I'm not saying I don't really care about other people's opinions, because we all do. Yeah. But it's less and less and less. Like, if someone says to me, like, Coach Stone, why you think you should be getting paid $1 million to speak? I'm like, I'm not answering your question.
That.
I really don't care. I don't care what you know what I mean? So, and it's not an ego thing. It's just that when your why is so big, you're focused on that. All of the noise and he's not good enough, or other people saying that, or even myself, I just stay focused on the why. Yes. Right? It's too big. I can't worry about my little uncomfort or whatever. I'd rather try and fail than not try at all. Because at the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed, that's what you're thinking about. You're thinking about all of the things that you didn't do.
Exactly.
Right? You're not thinking about the things you failed at. No one's thinking about that at the end of the day. They're thinking, why didn't I just make that leap?
Right.
And so I try to live like that. I try to make the leap. And if I fail, so what? I'll learn from it.
You make that leap, and then you surround yourself with people who will catch you just in case you don't got it.
That's right. You got it. So I hope your arms are strong. You got strong arms.
I got you. I will never let my girl's husband fall down.
All right.
I'm there for you guys. And speaking of people who have your back, I just want to give a shout out to Banky Designs, who is holding down the show for me. So let's just run a little commercial, and just do a little commercial on what it is that Banky Designs does for me and that she could do for you. Run that. I can't tell you how happy I am that girl's on my team.
Ooh, that looked great, man.
That was fire.
Everybody make sure you tap in.
Right.
I like
that.
Like
for real, that girl knows what she's doing. And I love it that she's a woman doing this graphic design type of stuff, because that's not something common. So, if there's ways that you want to support a Black woman, she's one that you would like to support, because she puts her time and energy into that. Awesome. Now, how do people reach you, Danny?
Yeah, you can find me at I am Danny Stone on every single social media platform. IamDannyStone.com. You can check me there. Anybody who's an author, anyone who is a consultant, a coach, if you really want to learn how to speak to scale up your business and attract your ideal audience, go to IamDannyStone.com/challenge. I'm going to have a 5-day challenge that's going to teach you so many things about how to speak with confidence and how to attract your ideal audience. So I got that coming up next month. And that's how you can find me.
That's amazing. And big up to the Facebook user who just said, great interview. I thought it was a great interview too.
But before we end though, but I just want to say to you, LA, I'm so proud of you and your journey, because you're somebody who you take action. And that's what I want. That's what I really like about you. It's like you think about something and you have these ideas, and a lot of people put those ideas in the back of their mind and they never take action. And you do. And whether you fail or not, you learn from it and you grow. And I just want to say, I'm just so proud of you for taking action, and what's coming your way and all the doors that is opening up. I'm really, really proud of you, because I know so many people who don't, and they're miserable for it. So I'm just happy to see you growing and flourishing, and see your businesses doing well. And I know a lot of amazing things are coming for you. I guarantee that. So
I receive it. Thank you. I think that I have, taken in the champ mentality, and I didn't realize it, but even just in this conversation, I know that I'm going to now purposely do some work in that area around the inner champ, because that's the direction I want to go in, and that's the direction I want to bring my guests through, my audience through. And so it's powerful. So I know that this is not the only work that we'll be doing together. We'll be doing a lot more work together.
For sure.
Of course, I love your wife, and hopefully I can coerce her to come on my new show. But I just want to thank you for being here, and thank you all for watching the Cocktale Hour. We are presented by Business Takeout, which is a not-for-profit that inspires Black wealth and entrepreneurship. And I want to big up Banky and Banky Designs. And, if you want to sponsor or advertise on the show, hit us up. We'll be happy to run a commercial for you too, and talk about your business. I'm your host, LA Wade. Thank you for watching the Cocktale Hour. Thank you, Danny. You inspired us today. My new outgo is die empty, because you know what? If you don't empty yourself out of everything you want to give to someone and to this world, you're hoarding it for yourself, and it's always better when it's shared. So thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you. Thanks so much, LA. Appreciate it.
Peace out.
If you enjoy our programming and want to help support Black entrepreneurship, please donate today www.businesstakeout.com/donate.